Kasha coming back at you with another lesson, giving all glory, honor, and praises to Yahweh by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by Hashem Hakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders, great millstone, rule and teach well. Peace, love, salutation to the elect 144 first fruit. This lesson is going to be on the city of Nineveh because it's spoken about in Jonah, it's spoken about in the book of Tobit, it's spoken about in the book of Micah, and we're going to see in Nahum. It's spoken about in these books, which were books, the prophet Nahum, Jonah, and Micah were around the same time as each other. Okay, so they were prophesying against certain individuals, because I know, let me see, I want to say Micah was during the time of Hezekiah, Nahum. He was prophesying against Nineveh, and these were during the times of the Assyrian Empire, and especially their come up, because the Assyrian Empire, if I'm not mistaken, they ruled for a smooth minute. Okay, the Assyrian Empire ruled for a smooth minute, space of about like 201 years throughout all of their kings that ruled. So on average, they're about, like, each king about 22 years of rulership. So that's a pretty lengthy rulership. 201 years they ruled, and really they came up and whooped up on Jake, man. All right, so the Lord had men to set up to prophesy against them. So we're gonna kind of dive into Nineveh. So I'm gonna get Jonah chapter 1 real quick. I'm just gonna read the part where it's talking about Nineveh. All right. So Jonah 1:1. Now the word of the Lord came unto Jonah, the son of Amittai, saying. Now Jonah, he was a prophet. He was also, matter of fact, he's mentioned in 2 Kings, I want to say. Let's see. I want to say 2 Kings. Where 2 Kings? 2 Kings, I want to say 14th chapter. Let me see. Yeah. This is 2 Kings chapter 14 and 25. He restored the coast of Israel from the entering. Let me reread. 2 Kings 14 and 25. He restored the coast of Israel from the entering. Oh my gosh. 2 Kings 14 and 25. He restored the coast of Israel from the entering of Hamath unto the sea of the plain, according to the word of the Lord, the power of Israel, which he spake by the hand of his servant Jonah, the son of Amittai, the prophet, which was of Gath-hepher. Right, so pretty much this is where Jonah was from, here. Gath-hepher, if I'm saying that correctly, and Jonah's name is Yawanah in the Hebrew, which means dove. Okay, so let's continue. So the Lord told him to do what? Verse 2, arise, go to Nineveh, that great city, and cry against it, for their wickedness has come up before me. Correct. Their wickedness has come up before the Lord. So I'm just going to read a little snippet here that I have in one of my Bible study books, or Bibles that I have physically here. It says, I'm going to read swiftly. So Nineveh, an ancient capital city of the Assyrian Empire, was founded by Nimrod. You can go to Genesis chapter 10, verses 8 through 10. Matter of fact, let's head to it. I'm going to keep this open because I still want to get the pretty much where Jonah was from and stuff. We'll get back to it. Genesis 10. Let's go 8. And Cush begot Nimrod, and he began to be a mighty one in the earth. He was a mighty hunter before the Lord. Wherefore it is said, even as Nimrod, the mighty hunter before the Lord. And the beginning of the kingdom was Babel, and Iraq, and Akkad, and Calneh, and the land of Shinar. Out of the land went forth Ashur, and builded Nineveh, and the city Rehoboth, and Calah. All right, and it says, and Rezin between Nineveh and Calah, the same is a great city, right? So when we go into Nineveh, Nineveh is really like a New York of today, really, because you have New York, New York, New York, but within New York you have Brooklyn, Queens, Bronx, you know what I'm saying, that make up all of Nineveh. And Nineveh was it was the same way. It had big cities within it, but all of it was Nineveh, if you see what I'm saying. It would be considered Nineveh. Okay? So it says but is best known in the Bible as the place associated with Jonah's ministry, of course. Um, it says several centuries before Jonah's preaching mission to the city, Nineveh became one of the royal residences of the Assyrian kings, Sennacherib. So when you go into Sennacherib, obviously you can read about him in Isaiah the 37th chapter. You can go to uh, reading about King Hezekiah, primarily. Matter of fact, let me go to Isaiah 37 so we can get the edification. We're going to go down to the very bottom of Isaiah 37. Okay, so this is Isaiah chapter 37 and 36. Then the angel of the Lord went forth and smote in the camp of the Assyrians 104 score and five, which is 185,000. And when they arose early in the morning, behold, they were all dead corpses. So Sennacherib, king of Assyria, departed and went and returned and dwelt in Nineveh. Exactly. So you can get the full picture of the entire historical event by reading the Chronicles and the Kings. It will give you both, it's kind of, the Chronicles and the Kings are as Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John are to the Gospels, if you see what I'm saying. You got to read all four books to get the full picture. You got to read the Kings and the Chronicles to get the full picture as well, because this is mentioned again in the Chronicles. So where did he go, though? He went to Nineveh, all right, which was pretty much the headquarters, or what you can say the capital of the Assyrian Empire during that time, around 705 to like 78, or not 705 to about 680 BC. It says, I'm going to keep reading. It says, made it the capital of the Assyrian Empire to offset the rival capital of Dur-Sharrukin, if I'm saying that correctly. Let's look this up. We're always going to get, some good stuff here. There we go. Of this city here. So, present day Khorsabad as was the Assyrian capital in the time of Sargon II of Assyria, which was during that time where the Assyrian Empire was prominent and flourishing and big empire on the come up. It says Khorsabad is a village in northern Iraq. So now we have an indication of where Nineveh was kind of placed. Okay, so Nineveh was kind of up this way. You can see on my mouse, this is modern day Iraq right there. Okay, let's go back. All right, so it says northeast of Mosul, and it says the great city was entirely built in the decade preceding 706 BC, which was during the time of Sennacherib. It says after the unexpected death of Sargon in battle, the capital was shifted 20 kilometers south to Nineveh. Right. All right, so I'm probably gonna put this link. I'm gonna keep this open, but I'm probably gonna put this link at the bottom so y'all can do deeper research in that. Okay, so we know Nineveh was a big, prominent city, which became a capital of the Assyrian Empire. I would say during the time of Sennacherib. All right, so let's keep going. It says built by his father Sargon II. That's when we just read that Sargon, ended up dying, and who came into power? Sennacherib. All right. So it says he greatly beautified and adorned Nineveh. The splendid temples, palaces, and fortifications made it the chief city of the empire. Sennacherib's day, the wall around Nineveh was 40 to 50 feet high, so it had high ceiling, or not high ceiling, but high. It was fortified, you could say. All right, and extended 2.5 miles along the Tigris River, and for 8 miles around the inner city. The city was The city wall had 15 main gates, 5 of which have been excavated. Each of the gate, well, let's get the word excavated, okay, just so we can get the understanding of what's being said here. Excavate. Here we go. Excavate says to make by digging, remove earth carefully, systematically. So pretty much excavating is that Esau went and did some archaeological search to get this information as proof, you could say. So it says Sennacherib created parks and botanical gardens in a zoo booth inside and outside the walls. Despite magnificent splendor, it fell in correlation to the Chaldeans, Medes, and others in 612 BC. Now that goes into what Second Chronicles, the 36th chapter, um, around 605 BC when the Babylonians started to come up. Okay, that goes into that because the Assyrians came and um, allied with the Egyptians, which in turn, when they have that battle at, I want to say, Karshemish, if I'm saying that correctly, that's when Assyria was completely wiped out, like to zero. The Lord took them out, and Egypt was just weak after that, and then Babylonians started to rule after that, which really Nebuchadnezzar was an Assyrian, really, but in a whole, all in all, the Chaldeans, Babylonians started to rule because they defeated the Assyrians and the Egyptians. That was during the time of Josiah, which you can read about again in Second Chronicles 35 and 36. All right, so let's go back to Jonah. It says, but Jonah rose up to flee unto Tarshish, which is when you go into Tarshish, it's a Japhetic, you could say. When you go back to Genesis, I want to say the 10th, 11th chapter as well, under Japhet. It says, from the presence of the Lord and went down to Joppa, which Joppa is mentioned in Acts, I want to say the 4th chapter. Matter of fact, let's get it real quick. All of this is for edification purposes. Lord willing, this is edifying. So let's go to Acts real quick. I want to say 4. I want to say 4 and like 42. Not 42, I'm off. Is it Acts 4? It may be. Barely. Mm-hmm. It may be not. But I know let's try 5. Maybe not. No, I'm off. Let me see. If I can't find it for time's sake, we'll just move on. I knew it was okay, there we go. So Acts 9 and 42. So pretty much the apostles were in this area. It says, and it was known throughout all Joppa, and many believed in the Lord, and it came to pass that he tarried many days in Joppa with one Simon and Tanner. Exactly. So I just wanted to bring that because Joppa is mentioned in the New Testament as well in the book of Acts. So that's where a lot of Israelites were. And it says, and went down to Joppa, and he found a ship going to Tarshish. So he paid the fare thereof, and went down into it to go with them unto Tarshish with the presence of the Lord. Now, Jonah was going off here. He's trying to run from doing the work, you could say. But pretty much the whole book, which I may do a breakdown, well, not a breakdown, an overview of it later on. Lord willing, sometime this week, I'll do a breakdown or overview of all 4 chapters. And really, it's a learning lesson in this Jonah. Pretty much, you're supposed to do what the Lord say, and what's there to question. Pretty much, pretty much, look at this. Jonah went down. He got the word in Gath, in where he was from, in Gath Hefer, and then he went down to Joppa, planning to go 2,500 miles over to Spain. Like, stop, bro. And Nineveh 500 miles away. Yeah, you doing too much. And Joppa is a ways down because Gath, where he's from, is like right here. Matter of fact, let's see, because I did a quick uh, Google search of this. So let's do again Jonah map. Here we go. And then we're gonna get back to. No, as a matter of fact, it's all good because we're gonna get back to Nineveh. But pretty much Jonah was one prophet told to go prophesy against Nineveh. So I have this article here too. It says Nineveh as sin city. Right. So when you go into certain cities in the scripts, like Corinth, Greece, that was like a sin city. That's why they no other reason why Paul had two epistles, long epistles, to the current to the brothers out there in Corinth, Greece. All right, because it was like a sin city, man, like a Las Vegas, just a lot of fuckery, for lack of better words. All right, so I'm gonna start right here. It says uh, the historical Nineveh was the capital of the Neo-Assyrian Empire. All right, in the late 7th century BCE, there was no love lost between the ancient Israelites and Nineveh. The city's king Sennacherib led siege to Jerusalem, which you can read about in the Kings. Actually, you can read about start at Shalmaneser. So start at like 2 Kings 17, when King Hosea was ruling. Okay, because he did which was evil in the sight of the Lord. Therefore, the Lord took out the northern tribe because he was the king of the northern tribe. But who was the king of the southern tribe? King Hezekiah, which was a righteous king. And he didn't take out the southern tribe because the righteous king was doing what he was supposed to do. Okay? So uh, it says the prophetic book of Nahum as an Israelite, a taunt song over Nineveh's destruction by the Babylonians in 612 BCE. For Nahum, Nineveh is a bloody city of bloodshed. Correct. So let's go to Nahum chapter 3, verse 1, because that's what it is mentioning right there. All right. Nahum 3 and 1. Now, we always bring this out and compare it to today, which the bloody city, yes, is today America. But Nahum 3 and 1, who was he speaking to? He was speaking about Nineveh at that time. So it says, woe to the bloody city, it is full of lies and robbery, the prey departeth not. Exactly. That was the Assyrian Empire at the time, and that was Nineveh, man. That was Nineveh. He was prophesying against Nineveh, and as a whole, Nineveh, because it was the capital, goes against all of the Assyrian Empire. Okay? Goes against the whole Syrian Empire. So that's what it means by that city of bloodshed, which was Nineveh at this time, because Nineveh was comprised of a lot of bullcrap going on. Like I said, uh, let's do ancient Nineveh map real quick. See a good one. Ancient Nineveh map. Matter of fact, let me do this. Cities of Nineveh. Let's see what comes. Because it wasn't cities. You have 3 big cities that were comprised in one. I wish I found an article on that. But let me keep this open because you can see what it was speaking about what I was reading in that excerpt I was reading. It had the big walls, which are 40 to 50 feet, with 17 different gates, and as you can see, the palace of Sennacherib was right there, and you had the rest. It was like a big ass city on the Tigris, okay, which is right here. All right. Of course, they had their water supply going through, but that's how the city was pretty much positioned. But there's 3 big cities. All right. So let me look that up real quick. 3 cities of ancient. Well, I cannot spell. I swear I can't. Ancient Nineveh. Let's go to all. If I can't find it, it's all good. Maybe I should have looked this up beforehand. Salakia Akim. Great cities in Mesopotamia. It's all good. It's all good. Lord willing, if I do an overview of Jonah, I'll go into it. Lord willing. Salakia Akim. But we know Nineveh was a big city, and it was known for its, screw offs and doing whatever. When you go into ancient history and nowadays history, whatever, every prominent empire had that one fuck off city. you know, like Assyria was Nineveh. Um, you could say like when you go into the Romans and things, you had Pompeii, you had Corinth, well Greece, the Greeks, they had current Greece and things of that nature. They always had these screw off cities that just a lot of debauchery went down, and this was one of the cities particular during that time. That's why you have four prophets, Isaiah, Jonah, Tobit, uh, Micah, Nahum, five prophets or so prophesying against this specific city. It was a wicked ass city, you know. Okay, so let's read right here. It says outside of the Bible, let me scroll in. All right, outside of the Bible, I'm right here. Nineveh was known for having been a great lawless and ruined city. Greek literary giants like Herodias, Herodotus, in Aristotle catalog its sinfulness, describing Sardanapalus, if I'm saying that correct, its legendary last king, in unflattering and problematic terms. Right, this place was just a lawless place. No one cared, did whatever they want. It says, I'm going to skip down. It says, I'm right here. According to legend, his subjects rebelled against his taboo behaviors, whereupon the king piled his wealth into a mountain, climbed atop it with his eunuchs and concubines, and torched it all with the fire that burned his palace to the ground. It was craziness going on in Nineveh. That's the reason why there's 5 total prophets, maybe I think more than that, prophesying against Nineveh, man. Prophesying against Nineveh. Prophesying against these Assyrians. They're wicked ass people. They're wicked as hell. They didn't care. So I just wanted to bring some light on how wicked Nineveh was. So when you're reading Jonah, when you're reading Nahum, Isaiah, you know what I'm saying, these in Micah and these different books, kind of in the same time frame, because Jonah was during 790 BC, Micah was during 740 BC, Nahum was during 640 BC. You had Amos in the mix during those times. These were men prophesying against these places because of the wickedness and the crazy stuff that was going on. So when you read about these prophets, know what cities and who they're speaking about. Get into the history of it. Just for time's sake, I'm not going to go super in depth to it. But when you read about Nineveh, man, there was a lot of crap going on, man. There was a lot of stuff. So just a off-topic thing. Whenever you read Corinthians, figure out why Paul was speaking to the Corinth like that, okay? Or why he had those letters, because there was things going on in Corinth that was not right, okay? And a lot, the men in there, he was trying to give them a stronger mindset because Corinth was such a wicked ass city, man. So Lord willing, that was edifying. I want to give all glory, honor, and praises to Yahweh by Shem Yahweh Shai by Shem Hakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule and teach well. Peace, love, salutations to the elect 144 first fruit. Brother Kasha Qual, until the next time, we'll say shalom.